things for sure when you're filming these things and you got like a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old gets a bottle of pop, he shakes it up and it goes everywhere. And then after he's drunk a little bit, he starts burping, and yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we want you to be prepared to tune in next Sunday and see our video about our family goal setting. We've been doing it for about 3 years now, and it's really enjoyable and fun to see how you've grown throughout the year. And so we sat down today and worked on our goals for 2021, and we're looking forward to sharing all that with you. So keep watching and don't forget to subscribe.
Number 10.
Number 10.
No, I think there were. Obviously, to pull the wagon and to run a PTO, we got us a little tractor, $6,000. It's not got very many hours on it. And I got it at a location that was not for turkeys, but when I did some research on it, it come from an area that had turkeys and probably has spent a considerable amount of time of its life in a turkey farm. This works for us. I can get it repaired local, and it's very maneuverable. It's small, short in stature. I can get in and out of the barns very easy. I think that if I was starting again, and we didn't start with one, we used a different tractor that we had on the farm. I like this. It stays here. It's necessary. It's necessary. We also pull a litter spreader blade, a pull type blade with it, which I'll show you in a little while, that I think it would also be essential.
Boys, you ready?
Number
9.
Number 9.
A very helpful hint that I got from our first flock supervisor was to get bags of these bedding, pine flakes, and you have them on hand in case you have a water leak. And so very, very handy, and almost an essential you never think about in the turkey barns. Right, Dion? Case in point, what do I do? Where do I go? So this is where the sawdust comes in handy. And doing it with one hand kind of stinks. As you can see, real quickly, it's good absorption. I get mine at Rural King. A lot of times below $5. Many times I can get it on, and I'll just go ahead and get a whole pallet when I do it. This one you could probably get by with half of a bundle here, or bale, I guess you might call it. But many times I just spread it all out. But you see, very quickly, I'm going to take care of a problem. As you see here, we've spread this out, and it is going to be, we'll help to dry that out. Keep dry litter in here. Didn't take very long. I used half a bag of the litter, or of the pine shavings. This is it.
Number 8.
This is a tiller, Blue Diamond tiller is what this one is. Hooks on the front of the skid steer. To my knowledge, I'm the only turkey farm or turkey grower that uses a skid steer tiller to work up the litter as the flock is in session. The reason I did it, I used a tractor one time, and it seemed like I had more trouble with tilling birds than I did with tilling and making the litter better, more comfortable for them. So this one here originally was set up so that you put the skid steer in the center. Shadow has helped us to modify this to where we can put the skid steer to the side, leaving most of about a foot, actually 2 feet of tiller that will slide under the feeders and waters. It's worked wonderful, and I wouldn't want to do that any other way.
You're supposed to say number 7.
Number 7.
equipment we got a little bit later down the road. The first night that the birds were, or the night before the birds were coming, Shadow and I spent 24 hours trying to get the sawdust leveled out in the barns. Later that morning, when the birds actually came, we found out in 5 minutes that the birds smoothed it out themselves. But you want to have a consistent amount of litter throughout the whole 500-foot barn. And so we put this on that little John Deere tractor, and we can set it to 2-3 inches, whatever we want, and we just start making many laps back and forth trying to get the litter spread out. Wouldn't want to start again without it.
This shirt makes me dance.
Number 6? Is that number 6? Which one is number 6? If you're thinking about growing turkeys, here's another thing that needs to happen. At the end of every flock, you need to wash and sanitize. And you can do it with a garden hose, I suppose. I wouldn't want to, because you're going 500 feet with water and it's just not going to work out. So we bought this used. I think it was $3,000. High pressure PTO pump with a wand on it, and I'll show you those in a second. But it also has the nozzles that spray the walls. So here we have wall nozzles, as well as a ceiling nozzle, 2 ceiling nozzles right here that you can adjust up and down to do the ceiling. Now Shadow and I have modified, we can actually put our feeders or our waters in this vicinity, and we can turn these on and it fires a very, kind of like going through an automated car wash, high pressure water right on them. So we use that sometimes when we're on to really sanitize the feeders or the waters. So this also came with a reel, retractable reel, as a very, very nice washing wand. It's adjustable in terms of the cone here. You can get it real tight or wide. It's wonderful for cleaning up the fans. We also put an additional one because Shadow would go one way, I would go the other. We'd leave the tractor in the center. And so that's why this came about, and advice that I would give. Number 5.
Number 5. Number 5.
One of the things that helps is being able to keep clean, and as clean as possible, barn to barn to barn, and when I go home. And so one of the things that we've done is we've repurposed these coveralls from an earlier job, and we use these in the barns to basically keep the dust and the smell on this set of clothes, whereby I can go and I can spend the rest of the day working and not have that on me. Also, it is a biosecurity issue if I can keep those barn to barn. In reality, I should have one set and I should change probably going from barn to barn.
Number 4. That was it, because no one's on there.
One of the many essential things for turkeys and growing turkeys is boots. So we have different sizes, but they stay at each barn. See, there, Dion's got some boots, right? So my outside boots here, inside boots are actually, those are Sherry's. And then Sherry's got her inside boots. And then we dip them over there in the foot pan for the bath. So that's something that's essential as well. And we put sanitizer in there. It looks like it's about time to change it. And Dion's gonna go do that as well. Now Claire the dog, she is not gonna do it. But Dion goes in there and cleans it out. So that's an essential part of this as well.
I'm not transformed.
Number 3.
Mine?
All right, Dion, what is it?
It's here.
Well, what is it?
I said it's a skid steer.
A skid steer. Yeah, so this is an essential, I'm not sure how you could get around it, a skid steer. So we have 3 different sizes of buckets. We have a fork tiller, which is another essential. I'll show you in a little bit. But ours is enclosed, air conditioning, heating. It does have a radio with as much dust as there is, and this is just after a clean out. I think it's essential. Now, tracks versus wheels. Everybody's got their opinion on that. I would like to try a tracked one just to see, but I wouldn't start a turkey barn without it. Can you say number 2?
Number 2.
The other essential that when you start a grow out is to have some type of a cart that you can pull on behind you. Many times I've got to take tools from one end to the other, and these are 500-foot barns. So this is the second version that we had. We started with a little kid's wagon, a little Red Ryder wagon. Actually, it was a John Deere, and I'll show you that in a little while, but it didn't make it. Many times at the end of a flock, we do pick up mortality that happens overnight, or in some cases, half-day mortalities, but you might have 600 pounds on them. Some of the motors are heavy and so forth. I have heard of some folks pulling like a toboggan plastic sled. While that is possible, that's not something that I want to do. Eventually, we're going to have motorized carts. There's different versions of that. We'll probably try to build our own, but something that would power itself, because it does take quite a bit of effort to do it. However, this one is good. One thing we got this at Tractor Supply at the end of the summer season. Got it very reasonably, $99 a piece. I got 3 of them. If they'd had more, I probably would have went back and got them after I saw it. Very well put together. We've modified a few things. Number 1 being, they had air up tires, and that didn't work. The birds can tear up anything. And so we went to Harbor Freight and got, I think they were $20 a piece, maybe, I don't recall now, foam-filled tires, and changed all those out. Haven't had any trouble since then. The other thing is, we did weld the sides on. They folded down, but that didn't work long-term, so now I went to using clamps, and we just clamped them tight, and that is working sufficiently. I pull my crank for the waters and feeders. I use that. Definitely an essential. So this is the original wagon that we pulled through the barn, and as you can see, it folded in the middle several times, so I kind of bent it back in shape. But this one would work for a week, or it might get you 2/3 of the first flock. Actually, not quite that much, but that's what we started with, and the end result was what you saw earlier. Number 1. Can you say number 1?
Number 1.
Can you say it again? Number 1?
Number 1.
Boys did a pretty good job, I thought. They counted pretty good. Probably better than I did, because really I didn't have a number 1 when I got to thinking about it a little bit further. Number 1 is actually the same thing that you've just done. You've stuck it out for a whole video. You have to have the determination when you decide to grow turkeys that you're going to be able to go every day of the year, whether you feel good or not. You have to be able to organize your time so that on Christmas you've got time with your family, or whatever holiday it might be. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So a lot of determination is the biggest tool that you have in working with turkeys.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. Ask your questions so we can all learn together. Come and grow with us.